This week, the President of the United States has imposed tariffs on Canada and Mexico and additional tariffs on Chinese imports, and there's discussion about a 25% tariff on EU goods. How would you explain the impacts on this to a family of non-economists in my seat of Glasgow? What would you say to them would be the 4 or 5 key potential impacts on their lives of these tariffs?
Sure. So I would start off by saying how uncertain all of this is. We've seen things that have been announced that have been delayed or haven't happened. We don't know how anybody will respond to this. So there's a ton of uncertainty that you have to approach this topic with. And then I would think through the different channels through which tariffs might affect the UK economy. And there are a number of them, and they work in different directions depending on how other countries respond to them. But I would start off by looking at export substitutions. So if there are tariffs on the UK, for example, then UK goods are relatively more expensive than domestically produced goods by the country imposing tariffs. So people might look for alternatives and stay away from UK goods. That would put downward pressure on demand for UK goods, and so would put downward pressure on GDP and on inflation. That said, there might be a bunch of trade diversion as well. So countries that used to sell into the market that's imposing tariffs might not be able to do so profitably anymore. So they might look for other markets for their goods and might have to discount their goods a bit in order to find these new markets. That would put downward pressure on inflation for the UK.